Hello everybody and welcome to part 3 on the Marea restoration.
Fiat Marea Weekend.
In the first 2 episodes we bought the Marea and we found out that the car had more rust than expected.
Yeah.
With a little help from Mark's daughter, the car is now clean and ready to get dismantled.
Well, cleaned the car with my daughter and she's looking much better right now. Just a simple clean so I can work on a relatively clean car. And well, today I want to get, or in this video, I want to get this engine out. And first thing we're going to do is remove the coolant, headlights, probably also the bumper if necessary. And well, working my way from the top all the way to the bottom. The engine has to come out from underneath the car, so we have to pull the car up in the air and get the engine out. The main reason why we have to get the engine out that way is because the chassis leg over here is very close to the engine, so all the pulleys etc. will hit the chassis leg. On the silo it's much wider. Same on this side, of course. The chassis leg is around here and you have the gearbox etc. So and it is much tighter than the silo, so there's no space. I've never worked on a Marea before, so let's start with the parts on top, headlights, and then we'll go from there. So already ran into a problem, and as you might have seen, this plastic part this bolt was not coming out, so I just removed the plastic. I thought, well, I'll buy a new one, but this part here is also damaged, so that's one thing. Also, those 2 bolts are not coming off, probably rusted through the inside. I don't know. There's absolutely no movement. If I just use nothing is happening, so yeah, well, if this will be the start of the removing process, then I might be in trouble. But yeah, also I also notice things like this, just like, I mean, why this one is tight, but this, yeah. Well, let's continue from here, and yeah, I probably have to be more careful with all the old plastic.
The Fiat Marea is a car made in the 90s and is much better built than, for example, the Stilo. This is a pre-electronics era, so everything you see is just working mechanically. The throttle body, for example, has coolant running through it, and the car has hydraulic steering.
Also damaged.
The air intake and other plastics will all be replaced for brand new ones because all the plastic is old and easily damaged. This will be a nuts and bolt restoration, so almost everything will be replaced with brand new OEM parts. The air intake box finally came out, and as you can see, all bolts are rusted. The wiring from the Marea is running over the chassis leg and is covered in plastics. This car is not known for electronic problems like the Stilo. We also take precaution with the clips from the connectors because you can't buy the wiring new. This car is 30 years old, but still in relatively good condition.
So guys, I got a battery box out and unclipped most of the wiring. I went to the headlight. There's a few fuse boxes over here. There's a fuse box over there. Yeah, it's completely different build than the Silo, which I already expected. But this is much, yeah, it looks more. There's more quality to this car before the Silo came. The Silo is much more simple and vulnerable. Yeah, well, this side is probably, what I can see, mostly done. Of course I need to do some parts like this, like the clutch, etc. All those lines have to come out, and then, well, this is the mount. So yeah, I have to figure out how to get the gearbox out, but that won't be an issue. Air filter box, I need a new one. It is, yeah, it's completely knackered. It's damaged, so I'm gonna get maybe a second-hand one. One is that is still complete, and then, well, we'll go from there. That's for later. Next thing, coolant so this side, and then hopefully we're gonna do the suspension part, and then exhaust, and well, hopefully it gets out. What a job! It's much bigger, much narrower, hard to work with, but at least the chassis legs, guys, are still fine. So as far as I can see, there's no rust in here, so that's a good thing. Yeah, let's continue on that side. So the main reason why I cut this one is because it's completely swollen over here, and yeah, you might not see it on camera, but there's a lot of oil there, and all the rubber is really bad, so it will cause leaks in the future, so I'm gonna replace it.
If you made it this far into the video, then you probably like this content. Why not help Mark out with liking this video and subscribing to the channel? Time to remove the suspension. We start with the plastics in the wheel arc. There are 3 pieces that need to be removed. We then also remove the drop links, because everything you see will be replaced with brand new parts. We don't know the history of the car, since the last owner was a mechanic and did everything himself. The steering ball joint is easily removed if you use a hammer. The ABS sensor is probably the original one from the factory and is rusted on the inside. Mark tried to remove it carefully, but after a few tries he had enough, and we will replace it. We then remove the brake caliper so we can sandblast the parts, and the brake disc will go into the bin. Same with the wishbones on the car. They are worn and will be replaced.
Wishbone out. Well guys, we are underneath the car at the moment, and what you are looking at is the aluminium part that holds the axle in place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this part on the engine. It is bolted onto the engine, but as you can see there's absolutely no space to remove all those bolts. So I'm gonna remove those 4 or 3 or 4 bolts on this side, and then I'm gonna undo the part over there, the wishbone, brakes, etc., and then hopefully I can get this piece out at once. Yeah. Off camera I'm gonna undo these bolts, and then we'll go from there.
The gearbox is bolted in with 3 bolts on the top side and a few bolts on the bottom. The starter motor also has been removed off camera. Problem is that the Marea is built much narrower, so there is little space to work in. With the bolts and gearbox mount removed, Mark tries to remove the gearbox from the engine, but you might have guessed it, there is no space.
Well guys, small change of plans. I'm gonna need to remove that subframe from the car. So the jacking points that were up here are now on the rotten part of the chassis. So yeah, it's not ideal, but let's hope for the best, because well, this is the only part where I can still mount it on the car. Let's hope it will all be fine. Same on the other side. Let's go to the other side and I'll show you. So I used a bit of wood also, and well, I'm just hoping that it will stay.
The Alfa Romeo 155 is made on the same platform as the Marea, and what we don't want to happen is this.
The ramp seems to have gone through the bottom of the car, Gus.
Seems like it has.
That's not good. Oh dear. Oh no, look at this, Gus.
Oh dear, that's not good, is it?
So, need to remove the subframe because the gearbox, which is located right over here, is actually touching the subframe when I want to remove it. So the gearbox can go out with the engine in the car. I can't lower the engine down because, well, I'm working on the street. So I have to look for a different way to get everything off. So the only solution right now, guys, is to remove the subframe from the car. Then I can get the gearbox out and then the engine can come out. Let's go.
The subframe is bolted in with 4 bolts on each side. 2 bolts on the side of the car and 2 bolts in the middle. Because Mark tried to remove the gearbox from the engine, the drive shaft came loose and a small amount of transmission oil leaked on the street. We will clean this, of course. There is absolutely no space getting the subframe out, but after wiggling the subframe with a crowbar, it finally came out. It is scary to pull on these parts while the car is resting on rotten jacking points, but in the end, we got it done. Now that the subframe has been removed, the gearbox should come out relatively easy, but we still have a problem with the drive shaft. The mounting for the drive shaft is bolted on the engine. With the bolts removed, the mounting part is still stuck between the engine and the hard hydraulic lines from the steering rack. Mark tried to carefully pull the drive shaft out, causing the engine to drop. Luckily, the engine has 2 mounts, so it can't fall down.
Well guys, the gearbox is out. It is a massive job doing it here on the street, but I managed to do it by removing the subframe from the car, which was also very difficult because of the small space I have to work in. Normally I would get the drive shafts out, but that side over there is actually stuck between the engine and the chassis of the car, so I couldn't get it out. So with just pulling the gearbox out, the axle finally came loose, so that one is also out. Yeah, the last thing before we're gonna get the engine out is removing the hydraulic pipes over there below the car. Can't record it, but basically just some tubes with some hydraulic fluid that comes from here. And then, well, I hopefully can get the engine out. Either way, I'm gonna maybe get it out this way or from there. We'll see. Let's continue before it gets dark. Well guys, I was this close to getting the engine out, but it is getting dark, and as you can see on the road, it's freezing, it's cold, and oh man, and if you just look at me, guys, it's cold. I'm tired. It's getting dark. I almost had it out, but it is what it is. In the next video we are getting this engine out, and also I still have to figure out how to get it out, because if I lift up the car and the car might go sideways, it will probably hit that car, you know. It's dangerous, so I have to think for a solution. Maybe I'll just remove the bonnet and get the engine out from the top, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes, guys. Well guys, it's obviously the next day, and as you can see it is raining, so I can't do anything. The engine is still in the car, and I wanted to show you something from the inside. Nothing special, but it's funny. That's why. If I remove the carpet, where are you? Hey, there is a hole inside the car, and also, as you can see, there's rust. So, yeah, that will be fun in the future. We'll see how it goes. The rest is still fine. That's dirt. It's not really rusted, but yeah, it needs attention. But in the next video we are going to remove the engine, which will be easily done, and then we start with the interior and remove everything, and well, we'll go from there. And this, by the way, is the subframe from the car, and well, as you can see, is perfect. A little bit of small rust here, nothing serious. Also underneath, no rust at all, so this is of course savable. We're gonna clean it up, paint it, and well, we'll go from there. We of course are going to clean it all up, paint it, and make sure that it will never rust. But yeah, it is perfect. Almost 30 years old, so yeah, lucky me. And I also had a little fun with the interior parts. So this is the part that came from the middle console, so it looked like this before. And after I cleaned it and painted it, it looks like a brand new part again. So we're gonna attack the interior in the next video, but for now
we are ending the video right here. We hope you liked the video, and don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. Here is a big blooper that Mark made. Do not try this at home, and yes, he knows he screwed up.